Now let me see whether anybody recognizes this.
In the U.S. alone, drug companies spend nearly twice as much on drug promotion as they do on development.
When taking Abilify, call your doctor if you have uncontrollable muscle movements, as these can become permanent, or if you experience unusual or worsening mood changes or thoughts of suicide. If you have high fever, stiff muscles, and confusion on Abilify, these may be signs of a life-threatening reaction. There are documented cases in which side effects from Abilify have resulted in coma or death.
My name is Andy Behrman. I'm not an actor. This is not a TV commercial. I'm a former spokesman for Bristol Myers Squibb, the makers of Abilify. On Abilify, I started to experience, one by one, all of the side effects they talk about in those TV commercials, including agitation, confusion, stiff muscles, and memory loss. I stopped taking Abilify because I didn't want to experience the final side effect, death. If you're one of the hundreds of thousands of patients who's been prescribed Abilify, ask your doctor if Abilify is wrong for you.
Bipolar disorder is challenging and can affect your job, family, and friends. For years, I had severe mood swings, racing thoughts, unusually high energy, and was extremely irritable.
Abilify is FDA approved to treat depression in adults when added to an antidepressant.
The makers of Abilify spent more than $150 million advertising it to the public in 2008, and the investment paid off. Sales rose 33% to roughly $2.4 billion. At least one other antipsychotic in the same class is seeking approval as an add-on treatment for depression, perhaps hoping to move in on some of Abilify's market share.
Learn more about Abilify.
Brace yourself. Here come the side effects.
Call your doctor if your depression worsens or you have unusual changes in mood, behavior, or thoughts of suicide. Antidepressants can increase these in children, teens, and young adults. Elderly dementia patients taking Abilify have an increased risk of death or stroke.
While viewers may have become numb to the litany of side effects reeled off in drug ads, it's important to keep listening.
Call your doctor if you have high fever, stiff muscles, and confusion on Abilify, as these may be signs of a life-threatening reaction, or uncontrollable muscle movements, as these could become permanent. High blood sugar has been reported with Abilify and medicines like it. In some cases, extreme high blood sugar can lead to coma or death.
Translation: you could wind up in a diabetic coma with poor chances of recovery. It's a very rare scenario, fortunately, but a serious one.
Other risks include dizziness upon standing, seizures, impaired judgment or motor skills, or trouble swallowing.
To sum it up, with side effects like these, Abilify is not a drug to ask for just because you saw it in a commercial. Not to mention that Abilify can cost up to $450 a month, so you want to make sure that's money well spent.
Adding Abilify has made a difference for me.
And apparently in the weather as well. It's a lot brighter than it was at the beginning of this commercial.
If an antidepressant alone isn't enough, talk to your doctor about the risks and benefits of adding Abilify.
Talk to your doctor about the risks and benefits of adding Abilify.
Prescription drugs are a significant part of our lives, and we are bombarded every single day with ads. Does your restless mind keep you from sleeping? Do you lie awake exhausted? Well, maybe it's time for you to ask whether Lunesta is right for you. I've got a couple dozen more, and most people will understand what this is because they've heard them all. Go ask your doctor if the purple pill is right for you. They don't have the foggiest idea what a purple pill is for. They just think, you know, with all these scenes of trees and green grass and convertible cars and pillow clouds in the sky, if life is like that when you're on the purple pill, give me some purple pills.
But nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
I mean, that's what this advertising is all about.
What's this, documentary? Man, right here, this is my business. Buying, selling, whatever, you know. Slow. Business is off, man. Sales are down. Seems like half my customers, they don't even need me anymore, you know? I mean, they're getting high for free out of the medicine cabinets. How am I supposed to compete with that? Got kids? Well, next time something goes south with your kids, don't look at me, man. Ain't my problem. I didn't do it.
Teens don't need a drug dealer to get high.
I did.
Safeguard your prescriptions.
Teenage abuse of prescription drugs is being called an emerging epidemic.
Kids are getting into them now. Take a look at the numbers and you can see why they're calling this an emerging epidemic. 1 in 5 kids has tapped into their parents' painkillers. 1 in 5 has gotten into the stimulants and the tranquilizers. 1 in 10 has abused cough medication. calling this an epidemic. I mean, has it really come to that?
Well, it's an epidemic because our concern, Brian, is that the numbers we're looking at today potentially could double. So when you've got 4.5 million kids that tried prescription drugs last year and that could double to 9 million, yeah, it's an epidemic for us.
And why do you think it's growing so rapidly?
For a variety of reasons, but the two most important reasons are ease of access. Kids can get it on the internet and they can get it right in their home medicine cabinet. And the other problem we have is that kids and their parents as well don't view it as dangerous as an illicit drug. So they think it's safer than using an illegal street drug, which is absolutely false.
High blood sugar has been reported with Abilify and medicines like it. In some cases, extreme high blood sugar can lead to coma or death.
What are I guess, some of the harms that are caused by prescription drugs in the wrong doses?
Well, you can die.
It's the fastest growing problem among young people. It even has overtaken marijuana as the drug of choice.
In 1930, it wasn't possible to patent plants. And that's the reason that pharma never picked up on this, because by synthesizing and owning compounds, that's where the profit motive comes into the pharmaceutical industry.
We checked some of the side effects. For Marinol, dizziness, feelings of exaggerated happiness, drowsiness. Last time I checked, those were signs of getting high. If it is indeed side effects of marijuana that are preventing the pharmaceutical world from accepting marijuana as a viable medicine, then they better start paying more attention to the products they've been marketing for years. Every year, prescription medicines kill over 100,000 people.
The pharmaceutical industry has been excellent at convincing the public that they need their potions. If you watch any kind of commercial for drugs, they're always using the third person. For example, where does a headache come from?
How many people in this country alone are addicted to antidepressants? How many people who are on antidepressants really have imbalances, and how many of them just got off of a bad relationship and they're depressed?
It seems to be acceptable to give people something as long as you're wearing a white smock or you've given them a legal prescription. Doesn't matter how deadly the particular drug might be in terms of side effects.
What we call modern medicine is actually alternative medicine because it's highly experimental, it's often dangerous, often toxic, and it kills a lot of people, to me.
How addictive are these painkillers?
Drugs like oxycodone, hydrocodone can be as addicting as heroin.
How are they getting these pills to sustain their habit?
Babysitting, the medicine cabinet in your own home, medicine cabinet in a home of friends, grandparents.
Then I found Granny's room and I went inside. Oh my God, I shouted as I burst back in. Gram's got a prescription of OxyContin. Let's go to the old folks home. We can get doped up and then all get stoned. Let's go to the old folks home. Might have been there more if only I'd known.
The drugs, used as directed, effectively treat everything from anxiety to pain. When abused, they can have an entirely different effect.
The number of deaths attributed to prescription drug use and misuse is rising every year at a dramatic rate.
It's not the kind of record anyone wants to break. Reports of serious illnesses and deaths linked to medicine have hit an all-time high.
We have now covered the general information about the effects of drugs. Here is a summary of what you know. 1. How is the drug taken? 2. How does the drug change behavior? 3. What are the different behavioral effects of the specific type of drug? 4. Does the drug create psychological and/or physical dependence or tolerance? Later on, you will be given information on different types of drugs. To give you an idea of how this outline works, I will describe the effects of marijuana with the help of my assistant. Marijuana is usually inhaled from a kind of cigarette. Marijuana changes behavior by briefly stimulating and then depressing activity. It can also change behavior by creating mild hallucinations. Different people taking marijuana may see different things.
Fantastic. Defiant? Not at all. Businesslike? Not at all. Sheesh. Friendly? Extreme. They sound ridiculous.
Would you be interested in taking part in a study like this again and having the same type of drug?
Sure.
You would. It's been a very pleasant experience for you.
I'll do it anytime.
You know when you feel the weight of sadness. You may feel exhausted, hopeless, and anxious. Whatever you do, you feel lonely and don't enjoy the things you once loved. Things just don't feel like they used to. These are some symptoms of depression, a serious medical condition affecting over 20 million Americans. While the cause is unknown, depression may be related to an imbalance of natural chemicals between nerve cells in the brain. Prescription Zoloft works to correct this imbalance. You just shouldn't have to feel this way anymore. Only your doctor can diagnose depression. Zoloft is not for everyone. People taking MAOIs or Pimozide shouldn't take Zoloft. Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects.
Side effects include heart explosions, capital punishment, breast eyes, and in some cases, the belief that itchy skin is a gun. My arm's so itchy. Please don't shoot me, I have kids.
Don't move! Remain motionless! Remain motionless! Don't move! Remain motionless! Remain motionless! Don't move! Remain motionless! Remain